Hello, subscribers. Today is May the 16th, 2021. We are almost 5 months into this year, and I've been debating for quite a while to discuss these images which we have here of this person whom you will readily recognize. But it didn't feel right in my spirit to release them when I was about to show these images. This was about 3 months ago. But now the time feels ripe. It feels right in my spirit to show these images and discuss them with you. So, as you can see, this is Obama. He was a previous president who completed 2 terms. And he has a very extensive and unusual scar. In the middle picture, you can see his profile from the right hand side, whereas in the right hand picture you can see his profile even from the left side. What is this scar about? And here again we are looking at his right-sided profile, and you notice that the scar begins from behind the ear pinna and it goes across his head. Now, we were previously looking at his right-sided profile. Now this one is his left-sided profile, and this scar, as you can see, goes across the head down to behind the left ear pinna, and you can see that the scar keeps on tracking even downwards to below the left ear, down to his throat. I'll blow that up for you a bit. Onto the larynx, the voice box, what lay people call the Adam's apple. If this was some surgery of any sort, this was a very, very, very extensive surgery. If you had to imagine this person lying on the operating table with his wound wide open in the operating theater, this surgical wound opened up, as we have seen, how extensive the wound is. Imagine this wound open, gaping open in the operating theater. That would classify as a deadly wound. And the Bible speaks of the Antichrist having had a deadly wound that has healed, and they all wondered in admiration after him. I'm paraphrasing. Who were they who wondered in admiration at him that his deadly wound had healed? Well, of course, it was the doctors and the nurses and the people that took care of him in the post-operative phase. Maybe they thought that he wouldn't make it, but he made it. Such an extensive surgery. What kind of wound is this? Because I researched this wound, and the closest that I came to was a craniotomy wound. But why is it extending down, even so, to his throat, down to where his larynx is? I'm asking questions. I'm getting you to try and think. Of course, we don't know, but this is, I'm telling you, an extensive wound. When it was open, it classified as a deadly wound. Think about it. A deadly wound that healed, that has now healed. And I know that people understand that verse about the deadly wound that has healed, that also applies on a spiritual level, where it speaks of the wound of the Roman Catholic Church, or rather, shall I say, the Roman Catholic cult, when the Pope was exiled during the reign of Napoleon. Right now, the Pope's name escapes me. And this Pope was exiled for a period of time, and that was when the Roman Catholic cult suffered a deadly wound, because the head of the Roman Catholic cult, the Pope, was in exile. So that would also classify as a deadly wound. But here we have a physical deadly wound that has healed. So, do you think this is a coincidence that you have this magazine, Newsweek, with the second coming? You know that Satan counterfeits everything. So Satan is trying to counterfeit the second coming of Jesus Christ. And Satan knows that his time is short, because it's written that unless those days were shortened, no flesh should survive. And we know of the ongoing gene-modifying experiment. That experiment which is delivering nano chips into the guinea pigs who have offered to participate in the global experiment. And those nanochips will disperse throughout the body. They will even cross the blood-brain barrier. Those nanochips, not microchips, I said nanochips, even smaller. They cannot be seen with the naked eye. So those nanochips are able to go across the blood-brain barrier into the brain, and they are magnetic nanochips. And once that facility in Switzerland, capital C, capital E, capital R, capital N, is switched on, in conjunction with the Wi-Fi field, 5 fingers on one hand and the first letter of the word girl, under the influence of those fields, there are going to be